Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing? Sorry, I'm in work slash farming slash Somerset gear. I have just found half an hour to record this, but it's been a busy week so far, and yeah, I've managed to sneak in the second part of the four-part series of the Cheltenham or Chapman'S Cheltenham Festival preview. We turn our attentions to Ladies' Day on Wednesday, the 11th of March. Day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival. After day 1, we're probably already broke. Bookies are probably already cleaned up. We're already down bad. We're tearing our hair out. But we got 7 more races to get our teeth stuck into. We're going to start with the 1:20 p.m. the Turner's Novice Hurdle, Grade 1, over 2 miles and about 5 furlongs. This was won last year by the New Lion, who I was absolutely all over. And a lot of people were questioning whether he would get the trip, and I always thought he would get the trip, considering his performance in the Challow through what was very much a bottomless pit. And obviously the ground last year at Cheltenham was a lot better. But yeah, the very good horses will win this Turner's Novice Hurdle race. It looks like a cracking lineup in this race. I'll get into the odds right now. I'll bring them up right on your screen. But we've got Mighty Park at 3-1. No Drama This End at 7-2. Dr. Steinberg at 5-1. Skylight Hustle at 5-1. Talk the Talk at 6-1. Ballyfat at 8-1. King Rasco Grey at 8-1. Active Innocence at 10-1. And 12-1 Bar. Quite a few of these have got entries in the Supreme as well, but a lot of them aren't necessarily going to get the trip, and a few of them will be aimed at this rather than the Supreme, and the ones that are perceived as your more staying types will rock up here in the Turner's Novices Hurdle. I have a few fancies in this. It normally goes to the ones at the top of the market, but I have a very big fancy. I have a good fancy that is a very, very, very big price that might not even be on the screen grab of the odds that I'll put through. He's a massive price, but I'll get to him in a bit. On the English side of the Irish Sea, No Drama This End looks a very good type from Paul Nicholls. He looks very promising. He's done unbelievably well on his appearances so far this season. And I think with the English record in this race, and having watched, he had an 18-1 winner in the Turners a few years ago. I believe it was Stay Away Faye, but don't quote me on that. But Paul Nicholls does get a winner in this race every now and then, and No Drama This End, the Lovely Grey, is my pick for this race. I do like Dr. Steinberg. I do think he could be a danger. But I think No Drama This End, with his performances so far this season, he's going to be my pick for this race. And yeah, best of luck to Paul Nicholls in the yard, because yeah, they've had better seasons in the past, but I feel like they could come alive during the Cheltenham Festival. So my pick for this race is No Drama This End at 7-2. I have a massive each way play, and he rocked up in a novice literally a few weeks ago. I think he came over from the Irish Sea. It might have been Ludlow or Plumpton or something like that. I have already backed this horse anti-post. I was blown away by his performance. I know it was in probably a really low-grade novice, and the form might not mean anything at all. But the fact he didn't come off the bridle at all, and the fact he won by what was nearly 25 lengths, would suggest that he's potentially a very good sort. Now, he's got entries in the Supreme and in the Turners, but I think he's more of a staying type, considering he won over 2.5 in his novice on this side of the Irish Sea. So and the horse I'm going to put forward each way at 50-1 is He's On Fire. Let's hope we're on fire come Wednesday at Cheltenham. And if he does rock up, I can imagine he'll be shorter than 50-1 on the day. So maybe get on it now if you can form the same opinion as me. But yeah, my two picks for this race: No Drama This End, 7-2 to win, and He's On Fire at 50-1 each way. Moving next on, the 2 o'clock, the Brown Advisory Novices Chase Grade 1 over 3 miles and about 1 furlong. Again, there are a few horses in here that have entries in the Arkle, Romeo Coolio being one. And I think there's a couple of others as well, potentially further down the list, that have entries in the Arkle. But yeah, I'll go through the odds now. I'll bring the odds right up on your screen. So we got Romeo Coolio favourite at 3-1. We got Final Demand 7-2. K Dorothy at 4-1. Big Westerner at 9-2. Wendigo at 7-1, who also has an Ultima entry, who I've put up anti-post for the Ultima, but might actually come here instead. I might have actually jumped the gun on that one, but I'm not going to put forward. I might put up Wendigo for this race as well, but as kind of like a bit of a saver, if you know what I mean, because I have actually got two that I fancy in here. So Wendigo at 7-1, Western Fold at 7-1, Kit's Ball at 8-1, Cocktail Divan at 10-1, Oscar's Brother at 10-1, 6 Mile Bridge at 10-1, Salver at 12-1, and Kappa G Pike at 16-1 bar. There's a couple of really interesting horses in here. See, Romeo Coolio, I think he'll go for the Arkle. I think because of the fact you've got to stay to win the Arkle, and although the Arkle looks deeper, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like not Jigginstown, the owner and Gordon Elliott will stick him in the Arkle, because he looked to be, especially if the ground is soft. If the ground is soft or heavy, I think there's potential for him to turn up in the Arkle. Final Demand's an interesting one because he looks so good up until the DRF, and I still think at 72 he's a good price. But I'm just looking further down the list, and I'm thinking like there's my pick for this race is a mare. It's not a gelding. It's not a boy. It's a girl. My pick for this race is the Big Westerner at 9-2. We know she stays. She ran a big race in the hurdle race on Friday last year. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it's in the Spud race. She ran a big race in the Spud race last year, the Albert Bartlett, which is a staying hurdle race, and so she'll definitely get the trip. I was very impressed with her on her last run out in Ireland. I thought she ran an absolute cracker, and I just think she's a really promising type. And we know Henry de Bromhead will have his horses primed for this festival. It's a yard that really does target Cheltenham, and I think the Big Westerner at 9-2, perhaps back her to win anti-post, but on the day, if she's bigger than that, it's an each way play to nothing, I think. But obviously she might be short on that on the day. It just depends who turns up. So the Big Westerner at 9-2 will be my pick for this race. I think she's a really classy mare, and I think she'll definitely get the trip. And I can see her. She gets a mare's allowance as well, so that only really works in her favour. So yeah, I'll be. She's going to be my pick at 9-2. The other horse I like, who's come over to the UK a couple of times, and is a very dashing looking grey, named after, I think it's a Swiss ski resort or Austrian ski resort or something like that, and that's trained by Willie Mullins, and that's Kit's Ball. Kit's Ball at 8-1. I think that's an each way play to nothing. He might not turn up here, but obviously it's non-runner no bet. So if he doesn't turn up, then yeah, you get your money back. But I think at 8-1, he's slightly overpriced considering what he's done so far this season. He was beaten last time out in a big race on this side of the seat. I think he might have fell actually. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna have to check that back. But he looks like a very, very promising staying type. And Kit's Ball each way at 8-1, and Big Westerner to win at 9-2. Those are my two picks for the Brown Advisory and Novices Chase. Next one. This one's at a carnage. We've got the Coral Cup at 2:40 p.m. It's a handicap hurdle race, Premier handicap, over about 2 miles and 5 furlongs. Yeah, this one is, we all know about the Languedan, what could have been trilogy, but was a dual set of episodes. Yeah, we know about the whole Dan Skelton plot jobs thing with Langadan in this race. Yeah, it's this is very much as with most handicaps in any, well, as with all handicaps, especially the big ones. They are target races, and every horse in this race will be absolutely primed for it. And no doubt, yeah, it's going to be a really tough call. I have two picks for this race. I will give them both to you in this segment, but we will start with the Corach Cup odds, and I'll bring them up right on screen now. So I started a joke, 10-1 favourite. Indivar Blue at 10-1. Iberico Lord at 12-1. Storm Heart at 12-1. The Passing Wife at 12-1. Yellow Clay at 14-1. Apida Nom at 16-1. Dan Skelton. Bunting at 16-1. Came from Nowhere 16-1. Copic de Me 16-1, who was a big talking horse last year. Undari at 16-1. Place de la Nation at 16-1. Potter's Charm at 16-1. Rock Dino at 16-1. And 20-1 Bar. This is, yeah. This is an interesting race. I can, and there's a horse, the horse that won the Fred Winter last year. Put your hands together is in here as well, 20-1. But I don't fancy him in this. But I've come down to get to the point. I've come down on two Irish runners, and I can't remember if it was this race last year, but Willie Munnins put away a horse all season and rocked up with a horse called Jimmy DeSoy and won a big handicap at Cheltenham. I think it was the Coral Cup, but I might have been wrong. This horse has had 3 runs this season, I think, so far. Has finished second and won 2 of them. And he looks like he could be a very, very promising type, and he could be very well handicapped indeed. And that's Storm Heart at 12-1. He will be my each way play for this race, my probably solid each way play. And then I sort of go further down the list, and there's another horse who's a mare that I really like coming over from Ireland, trained by Paul Nolan. And she will definitely get the trip. She definitely needs a trip. And that is Feet of a Dancer at 20-1. I was very impressed with her run at Cheltenham last year. And she ran a big race. She won a big race at, I think it was Wetherby or Haydock, or one of the tracks. It was one of the tracks in the north earlier on in the season. But yeah, very impressive Feet of a Dancer for Paul Nolan. And she will be my second each way play at 20-1. So in the Coral Cup, 12-1 Storm Heart each way, Feet of a Dancer 20-1 each way. Shut your eyes, close them, pick random ones. Yeah, this again, this is another one like the Fred Winter. You need to check the trends. I would advise on checking the trends. At this point, we're not close enough to the time yet for me to analyze the weights and trends. So I'm purely going off, vibes, feeling, what they've done so far in their careers, and kind of like who trains them, who might be riding them, like just who I really fancy anti-post at this point in time. But yeah, please do check trends. Please gamble responsibly, and yeah, I'll do your best to find you an angle in these anti-post videos. But yeah, please do. So my 2 picks for this race: Storm Heart 12-1 each way, and Feet of a Dancer 20-1 each way. Moving on. We have the 3:20 p.m. the Glenfarclas Cross Country Handicap Steeplechase over 3 miles and about 5.5 furlongs. The absolute grueling stamina and jumping test of the week. And yeah, I don't go massive on the cross country. It is quite fun to watch, but I can't say I particularly do well in it. That's a good omen for me on a tips video. But what I can do is try and find you some interesting angles in the cross country. I mean, you've got some old favourites in here rocking up that have been here before. You've got some interesting Irish runners coming in here, and you've got some runners that have already won a cross country chase at Cheltenham. But I'll bring the odds up on screen now for you. Stumptown favourite 5-2. Favori de Champdu at 7-2. Desmond House at 11-2. Vanillier at 7-1. The Goffer at 8-1. French Dynamite at 10-1. Final Orders at 12-1. Jerive de l'Est at 12-1. Conflated at 14-1. Caridas at 14-1. I probably butchered that. And 16-1 Bar, Famous Bridge, and above. Any price you like after that, including poor old Manila Crooner, 100-1. Will not be my pick for this race. But yeah, cross country, it's one of those races that I never particularly have a massive opinion on. I will have a bet in the race, obviously, as with every race at Cheltenham. I will have a small bet. But just looking at this card, I think Favoy Deschamps obviously won the cross country race at Cheltenham earlier in the year, and he looks like a very, very good, promising stayer. Obviously, he's been messed about with in terms of his trip, and they've been trying to get the best out of him, but it looks like they've finally found a home for him in terms of the cross country. I was about to say genre, but the cross country like shelf, if you will. They found his right shelf and they've put him in there. Desmond House ran a very good race at Punchestown in the cross country event there. Looks like a very good stayer. Looks like a very good horse, but and Vanillier likewise also won at Punchestown earlier in the season at the cross country event there, and we know what he's about. We know he's going to turn up. We know he's going to run his race. But I'm looking at these horses and I'm thinking, do they have the class? Do they have the class angle in the race? And I'm going to be boring. I'm going to be dull. I'm going to go for last year's winner, and I'm going to put up Stumptown 5-2 to win the cross country. Gavin Cromwell. We need to talk about Gavin Cromwell. He's not had the best of season so far, let's be honest. But recently, over the last few weeks, his horses are starting to come alive, and I really think he's going to have a very good Cheltenham indeed. It's just like he was winning handicaps across all of the season last year, and obviously he had the winner in the Gold Cup as well at last year's Cheltenham Festival. But I just really think he's been going all in on the Cheltenham Festival this year, and the fact his horses are starting to come alive is a massive, massive plus. So I will be putting up Stumptown to win 5-2, and also Final Orders 12-1 each way. Another horse trained by Gavin Cromwell. I think he's going to run both in this race, and I think he'll have both absolutely primed for this. We know what Gavin Cromwell's about. He often comes over here and wins big races because he knows he's going to get an easier time over here than he does in Ireland, having to play against Willie Mullins every day of the week. So, and having trained the winner last year in Stumptown, and he's back for a second bite of the cherry, I could see Stumptown winning and Final Orders also placing. But my two picks for this race: Stumptown to win at 5-2, and Final Orders each way at 12-1. Champion Chase. This could be big. This could be big. So we got the 4 o'clock BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase, Grade 1, over 2 miles. One of the best races of the week. It could be utter carnage. Is John Bond going to turn up? I'm not so sure. Is he going to the Ryanair? I'm not so sure. Possibly. The fact he's 12-1 probably says a lot. But I'll bring the odds right up on screen for you now. Madsborough, favourite, 13-8. Marine Nationale, 15-8. Ilete Tom at 13-2. Loda Sud at 7-1. John Bon at 12-1. Calixios at 16-1. Fisalask at 16-1. And 20-1 Bar, including Sinesia and Brookie right down at the bottom at 100-1. Won't be taking any of those two. Although I think Brookie could potentially be a Grade 2 horse. He could win a Grade 2 in the future. But yeah. I am similar to the cross country. I am going to be dull. I'm going to be boring in this race. I was completely blown away by Madsborough at the DRF. I thought he was absolutely electric. I thought his jumping looked like nothing we've ever seen before. The cheap pieces worked absolutely wonders. We know he likes the track. We know he won the Triumph 2 years ago. We know he was jumped like an elephant last year and absolutely blew his chances in the Arkle after clattering about 4 fences. But it looks like the cheap pieces have worked wonders. You know what Mark Walsh is going to do on him. if he rides. I'm not sure if Harry Cobden gets a ride yet. I think it's going to be next season that Harry Cobden gets a ride for JP McManus in the green and gold. But Madgeborough, 13-8, solid pick for this race. Marine Machinel will probably run him closer than he did at the DRF. But if the ground is soft, Marine National definitely wants a better ground. If the ground is soft, Madgeborough will only get shorter, I think. And at 13-8, I think that's a pretty good price. And Madgeborough is my solid pick for this race. I'm going to put up, I think, if so Madgeborough is my pick for this race. I think Low de Sud could run a cracker. But I don't know if he's good enough to win a champion chase. The same with Thistleask, but Thistleask, I think if you're looking for an each way angle, and this is going to be one of the only races where I don't put an each way play up. I'm just solid Madgeborough to win at 13-8. But Thistleask will go off like the crappers. I can see him making the run in. He's come up massively in the weights over this season. I think he was like a 120 or 130 rated horse before Dan Skelton got a hold of him earlier in the summer, or back last summer, and he's come up massively and had a massive hike in the weights and could now be a graded horse. And I think he probably will be making the run in and possibly trying to set it up for Low de Sud and trying to find chinks in the armour in terms of Madgeborough's jumping. And possibly Ilete Tom's jumping if he turns up here, because we know he had a nasty fall last time at it was Ascot or Newbury, wasn't it? It was one of the Southern England tracks. But yeah, Madgeborough solid pick. But if you're looking for an each way angle, I'd potentially play Thistleask each way at 16-1, knowing that he's going to make the run in, and he could literally just find chinks in all their armour and turn it into an absolute horrible race. So yeah, Thistleask, I will put him up 16-1 each way, but my solid favourite in this, my solid pick, Madgeborough 13-8 to win the Queen Mother Champion Chase. As we move on, 4:40 p.m. Debenhams sponsoring this. Debenhams Johnny Henderson Grand Annual Handicap Steeplechase Challenge Cup over about 2 miles. Now, this is probably my favourite. It probably is my favourite handicap of the Cheltenham Festival. It's fast, it's fun, it's full of frills and spills. I believe Michael O'Sullivan, rest in peace. I believe the horse that he rode, or he had a winner on a few years ago. Was it Jazzy Matty? I believe he won this last year. Don't quote me on that. I will have to check and clip it in the section below. But I believe Jazzy Matty won this last year. I might have got that wrong, but yeah. This is just, yeah. This, and Jazzy Matty is back for a second bite of the cherry, and I'll let you know his price in a minute. But yeah, I think this is probably one of the This is probably one of the toughest races to call. In terms of who's going to be best prep for this race, who's going to be the most ready for this on the day, and yeah, I'll bring the odds right up on screen now. Be Aware, Dan Skelton favourite 8-1, Jacob's Ladder at 10-1, Van der Poel at 10-1, David's Well at 12-1, Jazzy Matty at 12-1, Ryan's Rocket at 12-1, Mammon number 5 at 14-1, Adragor at 16-1, Ballysack's Hank at 16-1, Down Mexico Way at 16-1, Highlands Legacy at 16-1, In the Pocket at 16-1, Jasco de Damas at 16-1, Liberty Hunter at 16-1, No Questions Asked is in here at 16-1, and Release the Beast at 16-1 and 20-1 bar. This could be an absolute cracker, ladies and gentlemen, and it will be. I am going to put up 2 each way shouts in this race. The one I like at 12-1, I believe he's in Noel Feely Syndicate racehorse, and he won an absolute. He ran really well last time out and won a good race, and that's Ryan's Rocket at 12-1. I was really impressed with his work last time out, and I quite fancy him, and I don't think he'll be that high in the weights for this, and I think he'll probably be one of those ones that could be very well handicapped indeed. So I'm going to go for Ryan's Rocket each way at 12-1. I believe he's trained by Fergal O'Brien, but I will double check that later on, and I probably will put it in the segment below if I've got that wrong. But I remember watching his race last time out, and I was very impressed by him. So, and yeah, I do think the English. I know an Irish trained horse won it last year, but Dan Skelton's Unexpected Party won it the year before, and I do think the English have got a good chance in this. So I'm going to put up Ryan's Rocket at 12-1. My next pick is another English horse, but this one is trained by Dan Skelton. Not a horse we've seen a lot of this season, which makes me think he is being targeted and prepped for this race. And that is Calico at 20-1 each way. We know he likes Cheltenham. We know he's won a couple of races here before. He will get the trip, 100%. I mean, it's only 2 miles, so he definitely will get the trip. But I just think at 20-1, he's a big price. And we know what Dan Skelton's like. I mean, Be Aware is right at the top of the market, but there's always that question mark. Is the number one Dan Skelton horse gonna be the one that wins this? Maybe not. Maybe he'll have Tristan Durrell on the 20-1 shot in Calico, and yeah, he might pick up some pieces and run into a place. He might even win it. But yeah, the Grand Annual, another one to check trends, another one to wait until the weights come out fully. But my two for this race are Ryan's Rocket at 12-1 each way and Calico each way at 20-1. We're nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. We're nearly there. Last race on the card on Wednesday, the 5:20 p.m, the Weatherby's Champion Bumper in the memory of Sir Johnny Weatherby. National Hunt Flat race, bumper, grade 1, over about 2 miles and half a furlong. I've got to say, this is the only race in the entire week I have literally no opinion on. I have literally no opinion on this race whatsoever. I am going to put up 2 though, each way. And really, they are just like, I mean, one of them, he's won a good bumper on Over Ireland, I think, but I was impressed by him. But yeah, I have no real opinion on this race, so literally just shut your eyes and pick one. Or don't bet on it at all. Don't bet on the bumper at all. Would be my advice. But I'll bring the odds up on the screen right now. Love Signed Anew, favourite 4-1. The Irish Avatar at 7-1. Corinne at 8-1. Keeping Company at 9-1. Base Hunter at 10-1. Oh My Word at 12-1. R Trigger at 12-1. Broadway's Head at 16-1. Metz Ta Censure at 16-1. Out of Africa at 16-1 and 20-1 Bar. Yeah. I am gonna put up 2 for this race, both each way. One of them is Oh My Word at 12-1. Couldn't get more steam at Manaman if you tried. We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look. Oh My Word, 12-1. That one's going in. Did win a big bumper. Well, not big bumper. But he did win a decent looking bumper in Ireland last time out. And I think, yeah, just because of the name and the fact he's coming over from Ireland, looks like most of these guys are. Again, I have no real opinion on this race. This is just a laugh. I'm literally going to pick 2. I like the names. So, Oh My Word, each way at 12-1 is my first pick. And it's only a game at 25-1, a bit further down on the list in the bar section. Yeah, remember, it's only a game, but please do gamble responsibly. My 2 picks for the Champion Bumper to round off day 2, Wednesday, Ladies' Day at the Cheltenham Festival, are Oh My Word at 12-1, and it's only a game each way at 25-1. That's both bets each way. Small saver on each, nothing too fancy. I have no real opinion on the bumper. Oh My Word, we'll have a look. Remember, it's only a game, but please do gamble responsibly. And let me remind you, my tips are sketchy at best and definitely are not guaranteed to get any winners, but of course this is a bit of fun. We're having a good laugh. A few of them are, I think, pretty solid picks, especially in the earlier races on the card on Wednesday. But yeah, bumper, absolutely not having, just picking 2 for the vibes basically on names I fancy. But yeah, it's been your boy, Got a Hat Hair again. Thank you for all the support on the first video, by the way. It's absolutely fantastic. It's got about 50 views already, which I know is not a lot, but for, you know, an idiot like me in a bedroom in the middle of Somerset, like 50 views on a video, that's pretty impressive. Considering I've only got like 20 people that, well, 5 people that watch these videos. So there are some unknowns that are watching these videos and are probably thinking, who the hell is this geezer making coming up with these absolutely ridiculous angles? But I'm going to head out into the night. I've got skills. I've got to pick a few people up, do some lifts. Hopefully we get a win tonight. Hopefully we get some winners at Cheltenham Festival. I thank you all for your support. I love you all very much. This will be up later in the week. I'm recording on Tuesday the 24th of Feb. I'll probably get it up before Friday. Thanks for watching. I love you all very much. Good night.